How is guys? So guys, this is about what we're coming back down to. I tried to talk loud throughout. Just for the exercise, guys, or just for what I'm talking about is I'm just going to clear exercise and the older client. Okay, I'm going to step to the side so you can see the screen, and I'm also going to be over to use the computer. Again, guys, it's only going to be about 15 minutes long. I've tore it apart this morning. Going forward for your PTS, I've taken out the parts I think you need to know. And I've also kind of just put in a few things that probably could come up in the test, so I'll highlight them as we go along. But other than guys, yeah, just watch this whenever you get a chance. 10-15 minute long. I'm going to hit the points that we think we need and we move on from there, okay? Right, so guys, very simple. What we're moving on to is we're moving on to exercise and the older client. Okay, some of the clients you're going to get to your class, some of the people throughout the defence forces, they'll all come into you and to be asking for all kinds of programs and everything. So you kind of need to know the guidelines that you need to work within. No one is too old to enjoy the benefits of physical exercise. Okay, that's from a US Surgeon General in 1996. Okay, again, I've another few quotes and stuff that I'll clip as long as we go, okay? Okay guys, so 11% of the Irish population is aged over 65. Okay, I know the COVID now could make a bit of an uprising in that, but it seems to be a lot of older people getting diagnosed with COVID and passing on. By 2026, it is projected that this age group will increase by 25%, and that is on the statistics of the Age of Ireland 2017 by CSO. A survey by the Irish Sports Council found that in the last 4 weeks of 2013, 40% of older people had participated in sport or recreational activity. This survey also found that the quality of participation has improved, reporting a 5% increase in the highly active group. Okay guys, so I suppose if you look at this stage, we're looking now with the COVID kicking in, a lot of people are indoors and they're mad to get outdoors. They're actually mad to go out and exercise, they want to exercise. Some of them are kind of pushing themselves too hard. What you'll find as a PTS moving forward is that you're going to need to be able to implement programs for these. Again, we're talking about the fifth principle here, that you're not giving them any crazy thing to do, that you have to remember the age, you have to remember what way their fitness test is going, if they're gearing themselves towards that, especially if it's overseas, and keep it in the fit guidelines, that you're not going to push somebody else in. And that'll come down to things like screening and something that I'm going to cover now in a few minutes. But yeah, so you're just what you're going to be faced with. Okay, these are some of the barriers for participating and identified by the Older Adult Irish Sports Council. Guys, the Irish Sports Council doesn't just work with older people. The Irish Sports Council works with everything from Olympians, people for the Special Olympics, older adults, people with scoliosis, kyphosis, and any of these kind of things, such thing as straight to swim. They work with people who have spina bifida and stuff like that. So these are things that the Sports Council kind of, some of the umbrellas that come under it. Some of the excuses you get will be there's not enough time for them. They think they're too busy. They want more time to do it. They don't want to be doing it during work. And health reasons, obviously guys, health reasons, that could be anything with bone density, osteoporosis, any heart conditions, any operations or any injuries that they had before. The weather seems to be one. No, I'm not going out, it's too cold. And guys, that's something we have to remember as well. The older clients, they're going to feel the cold a lot more than we would. So it's not a case of you can write them a program and you can go outside. You have to be able to alternate. And that's why we talked about some of the machines in there, and especially some of the low impact machines, which I would recommend. Anytime I'm doing it for anyone older, it's things like the rower, the skier, the ski org, the cross trainer, or the bikes. It doesn't have to be getting up and pounding the roads or pounding the treadmill out of it, okay? The lack of interest and motivation, they just feel like, what's the point? I don't see the point in doing it. The motivation, because they're just not motivating themselves to get out. It's too cold, I have too much time, no, it takes too long to get to the gym. But and then there's the other kind of problems, the muscular and skeletal problems, things like I said, like bone density and stuff, which I'll cover a small bit now in a minute. I have a couple of notes on it. And just I suppose any skeletal problems. The older adults, we all know the guys what I talked about with the lordosis, the scoliosis, but the kyphosis in particular is what I pay particular attention to any of the older clients. And their age, obviously, some of the facts that I'll go through that now in a minute will be when their age and what way things start to deteriorate and what way they start to feel the difference on them. The inadequate facilities. Older adults, we're going to be probably looking mostly after for them PCS course, your physical training supervisor within the Defence Forces. We're looking at people that are coming to us within the Defence Forces. I know you'll probably end up doing things outside, and that's the whole different screening format and stuff. If somebody comes down to us, we're going to have the facilitations there for them. So that's good for us. Some of the dangers, people that are living in rural areas, if they're looking to go out for a walk or run and stuff like that, there maybe not be a well lit up area. There could be a lot of traffic in the area where if you're telling them, right, I want you to kind of go at this speed and that speed, that you can kind of explain to them that's all right to pull back and kind of pick a location then, especially an older adult, anything could happen. Basically, somebody can mug them, rob them, all that kind of stuff. But what I'd be looking at when I'm saying the dangers is that if something did happen, that they were to have a fall or a slip or something, that they're in a well up area and somebody would notice them. And as you said, the crime there, as I just mentioned, the cost of going to the gym for an older adult. And again, just talking to people outside, the way things are now, fuel prices rocketing through the roof. So older people would feel a big thing on that. And then you have the lack of fitness. They're just not fit enough to come out and do it, or else they feel like they're not fit enough to come out and do what they have to do. Overcoming the barriers. The key to overcoming barriers is to realise that becoming active should not incur a great cost. It does not take lots of time, and it is not necessary to be sporty. Have lots of free time or be a member of a gym. Ballymun Active Living Survey 1999. This is a thing that they have up on the wall that's put down. They realised they were getting a lot of the older clients in, and they weren't trying to make athletes out of them. It was like they were getting together, and it was a whole kind of community thing where they start working together, they start meeting up, they start doing walking groups. There was a couple of groups that they done, but the same with the older adults, that's they didn't come in trying to be sports stars. They weren't coming in trying to play football or go back boxing or do any kind of gymnastic stuff. They were coming in to socialise and they were coming in to get fit. So the lads put them on a programme there where everything was low impact. They were working together, they were doing good music, and again they start introducing them then to some of the swimming lessons and stuff, which I'll talk about in a minute. And that's something that, especially for us in the Curragh, the low impact in swimming now I'd find probably beneficial to us more than it would be for a lot of you living in a lot of the other units, okay? Some of the other reasons for the participation in physical activity from the Irish Sports Council was they improve health, okay? Especially after COVID, people that have been locked up indoors all the time, they probably got sick of looking at every celebrity in the world jumping around the place, making videos and trying to make themselves famous in that way. So they were looking at these and just want to get out. And again, the social end of things on this would be the big one. They enhance their everyday functionality. So easy things like walking up the stairs, walking down the stairs, picking up the groceries, moving stuff around the house, cleaning the house, moving a hoover, ironing. These are all simple things for young fit people like ourselves. But for the older adult, they're not as easy. So you can just imagine if we had them on some sort of small program where it was active, low impact on the legs and got them moving, how advanced we could bring them on, kind of in that. Socialising, guys, I've had to mention it about 20 times now. Socialising with the older adult is probably the biggest part of it, and definitely the biggest part of it where I'd go from. Shop, cook, and maintain their independence, live rather than being independent on others. A lot of these companies are starting up. They bring their sandwich and soup to the older adults. Their clean cut meats, their clean cut foods. There's all these, but to somebody to get out of their house and be able to walk down, bring their own groceries home and make their own dinner, and they have to potter around doing a bit of cleaning is a big thing. So us putting on the programme would enable that a lot more than they would be able to themselves. Enjoy recreational activities. Again, guys, recreational activities, football, golf, go in for a swim, have a shooting at the basketball without doing a big basketball game. If they wanted to play volleyball where it's not like competition, that it's just nice and relaxed and nice and easy. Same with the soccer, we keep it nice and easy. To lose weight, guys, seems to be the common thing with everyone that wants to train, lose weight. So that would be a big thing, especially anyone who comes here as an older adult and they haven't trained too much in their career before. The feeling of the well-being, okay, just the feel-good factor. That's why I train half the time. If I want the good, I notice the difference. If I'm in a bad humour, I go out and train. If I come back, my mood increases all the time. So that's a big good one. It's just the endorphins that you release when you're training. The mental health, obviously guys, mental health's a big thing now at the minute. It's probably the most talked about topic anywhere that we talk about sport, we talk about fitness, we talk about recreational. You go onto YouTube, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, every one of these wellness, and wellness, it's linked to physical activity, is just phenomenal. It's just absolutely brilliant, and it's something that we need to do. And to stay young, to stay young, to feel young, to look good, and feel in themselves that they're young. So that'd be the whole reason that to be going, okay? So the physical activity, guys, the physical activity changes that happens within ages. Okay, these are a couple of things that we wrote down, and I kind of go on some of the NCF things on these, okay, after just going through the manual. The VO2 max declines by 8 to 10% per decade after 25 in the male and females. So there's a lot of us in that category already, especially myself, 42. So from 25, 8 to 10% a decrease. So you always have to remember that you're not trying to train somebody to go out and break 20-minute 10K or 5Ks, or you're trying to get in the bench press at certain things. And that's the reason why I put in the LME FIT principle for an older adult. And the blood vessels become elastic. Just before that, the cardiac output is reduced by 20 to 30% by the age of 65. So 20 to 30%, guys, that's a big difference with the cardiac output, okay? Your maximum heart rate decreases, okay? The vital lung capacity reduces, the chest wall compliance reduces, and the alveolar size decreases. Body fat will increase, the metabolic rate will reduce. The metabolic weight, guys, is the way you burn your calories and the way the body works and burns off all the kind of, if you're looking at adipose tissue and stuff like that, that it's working at. The decrease in muscle mass and strength, 20 to 40% loss. So guys, that's a big thing. You see a lot of the older adults have trained all their life. They're still doing weights now, but they haven't got the definition or they haven't got the size. And that's what we're talking exactly here about on that last part there, okay? So guys, yeah, there's some of the things that we go on, like loss of bone mass, which is an increased risk of osteoporosis. Okay, osteoporosis, guys, I covered which is already. The connective tissue loses elasticity, muscle fibre shorten, and the joints produce less synovial fluid. Guys, synovial fluid, I'm not sure whether I touched on that one before, but kind of give you an area of synovial fluid. If you think of your knee, your patella, okay, your patella, and kind of around your patella there's a fluid, or it's around your spine. There's synovial kind of little bags, and that's exactly what we're talking about here when we talk about the synovial fluid, okay? The reduction in hemoglobin, total cholesterol, is increased, and the level of high density lipolytes are reduced, okay? And your balance is reduced, okay? The balance is reduced, obviously, guys, it's got to do with the age and got to do with the stability. And if you remember when I talked about the equilibrium, as you get older, the equilibrium, instead of standing where we were talking about your anatomic position, anything that kind of leaves the weights where your weight is moving, what we done the last day when we were talking upstairs. The taste, you're more salt and sugar in foods, and sight and hearing are impaired. So guys, these are some of the things that you'll be thinking to be looking at. Obviously, somebody comes into the gym with you, they're looking to do probably most of these, but a lot of them, guys, are got to do with age. Okay, it's not like, oh yeah, it's hereditary that you're going to get weak at this age and weak at that age, or you train very hard when you're younger, you're probably not going to be fit when you're older. Guys, these are just things that we can't help. These are things that are going to help as we progress with age, and we just have to do around it. Okay, so the benefits, guys, some of the benefits there of the physical the training for the older adult. Regular physical activities substantially delays the onset of functional limitations. The US Preventive Service Task Force commends regular physical activity, especially balanced exercise, for the prevention of falls. Okay, so what I mean by falls, guys, is if the older adults, you see there's a lot of older adults, as I said, just to mention there, the equilibrium with the movement and their balance is over. The balance is, it could be something simple like they just haven't got the mass of the bone density that they had, they haven't got the muscle that they have, which means if they're moving, that it could very easily kind of unbalance them in that kind of way. The American Academy of Rheumatologists recommends physical activity and has managed arthritis. Evidence suggests regular physical activity can improve the quality of sleep among older adults. Physical activity often reduces the symptoms of depression. Guys, the last two here, guys, I put this one in, I think it's very important. The sleep pattern. It kind of, if they're active during the day, they're going to get a better sleep. Rather than going home after doing something and laying down on the couch or the chair, that if they actually get up and do the physical activities, they're actually kind of draining their energy somewhat, and they'll get a better sleep. Get a better sleep leads to a more healthier kind of next day. They're going to feel better about themselves, and they'll feel better about the training, and they'll keep it going. And the depression, it reduces the symptoms of depression. As I said, guys, we're talking about the mental health and stuff all the time, but the mental health is a big part of it. If you want to talk, the physical activity has been shown to reduce the amount of cognitive decline often associated with aging. So guys, cognitive means kind of a way of thinking, the way you process stuff. So if somebody is being healthy and active, they're going to feel healthy and active, and they're, in their head they are healthy and active. Okay, increase bone density and prevent osteoporosis, increase muscle mass and metabolism, which can contribute to the body fat management. Okay, so it can kind of keep them slim. They're not putting on loads of weight. Adipose tissue is not being bent over. Create a sense of belonging in social interaction. So if they're coming to a gym or if they're coming to a sports place, that they can stand up and they can go in and they're happy enough that they're not going to be embarrassed, that they're not going to fall over. But again, the social thing obviously is a big one, but that there's somebody there like us as a PTS that we can guide them on exactly what to do and kind of structure a program around the FIT principle. To help prevent and regulate non-insulin dependent diabetes by regulating blood sugar levels, to improve flexibility and the joint range of motion, to improve blood circulation, and to improve cardiovascular strength. Okay guys, so these are all the things that we were looking at, okay? So guys, just while we're talking there, just some of the other things that we came onto this, the physiology changes that happen with aging. Changes happens to the heart, lungs, muscles, joint bones, nerve systems, the body fat and cholesterol levels to the senses, okay? As I said, the cardiac input is reduced by 20 to 30% by the age of 65. Their blood vessels become inelastic and decrease in muscle mass and strength. The loss of bone, increase of osteoporosis, and then you're talking about everything down as far as your taste, okay? So what do we be looking at? What implications do these changes have for designing a physical activity program for us? Such as, say, if we look at the strength, your warm-up, designing a warm-up, the duration of the cardiovascular, and if you're looking for an NME, what areas are you going to touch, or what areas are you going to look at? We're looking at our upper, middle, lower again. But again, we're looking at it on a lot lighter weight than we would before, taking into consideration everything we got there. As much as 50% of the functional decline sees the aging is related to disuse and can be prevented with regular exercise. The aging process varies widely between people and influenced by both lifestyles and genetic factors. Exercise, diet, smoking and other health habits have a strong effect of improving both the length and the quality of life. Okay guys, so that was just a couple of things that I ran out there. You have your risk factors. I'm going to talk about the risk factors, and then after the risk factors I'm just going to talk a small bit on the benefits more of training. So if you look at the low lifetime intake of calcium, okay, smoking, your genetics, your family history, this is where we bring in the likes of your kyphosis, your scoliosis, osteoporosis, any kind of bone diseases, any kind of heart, respiratory problems. These are areas we're looking at this. A heavy drinker, somebody that's a heavy drinker, whether they were a heavy drinker or they are a heavier drinker, is going to have an increase, especially on the things like the blood pressure when they're training. So you'll have to watch out for them. The low body weight, small frame, they come to you, they're very fragile. They probably want to just build up a small bit, build their strength. So you'd work on you won't be looking to put them on a big building program. You'll be looking to build something that have them on their strength, just to improve their strength and improve their flexibility and improve their equilibrium slightly, okay? Prolonged absence of menstrual periods, okay, that's for the females. Estrogen deficiency as a result of menopause, especially in the menopause early clients with a hysterectomy. Anorexic nervosis. Okay, so somebody who is anorexic, I don't think I need to explain that to anyone, but they're probably doing everything right, probably doing all the right and eating, but just that they're not coming to you with the whole I want to lose more weight, and that you can guide them along, even though you're not going to be nutritionists or dietitians, and that you can guide them on the better way to becoming is you're eating a healthy lifestyle, and again with your sleep and stuff like that. And your advanced ages, guys. Advanced ages, there's none of us going to turn back the clock. This is something it's going to be there, and there's something that we're not going to be able to help, no matter which one of us think we are. Okay, and estrogen deficiency. Okay, postmenopause is a stronger stimulant for bone less than calcium deficiency. Estrogen influences bones 3 times as much as exercise, so that's a nice one there to take note of. Okay, exercise program for the older adult. I would always start with the low intensity. I'd use the RPE, the test talk. Guys, RPE is the recommended perceived exhaustion of exercise. Okay, so basically if you look at 0, where you're not tired at all, to 10, you're running for your life, or you're struggling for your life, and kind of have a look at the RPE, where the perceived exhaustion is what it's called. Okay, so you have a look at that, and basically it's a talk test that if they're trained and you think they're going too hard, going over how are you getting on and what you think of this, that they're able to answer you, and if they're able to answer you, then they're in kind of the lower end of things. If they can't answer you and they're under pressure, well then that's time to you for an older adult to pull them back, because a lot of the older adults, especially people who were into sports when they were younger, what I find with them is they try to keep up with a lot of the older people or younger people that come into the classes, especially in circuits when there's a bit of music and everything going, and somebody saying, come on, you go here, and they want to show that they're still that fit person when they were when they're younger. That's up to you to keep an eye on, and that's why your screen and everything is very important, okay? Standard flexibility, program should include cardiovascular, LME strength, and balance training with flexibility. Okay guys, flexibility is very important one here I find, especially with the older adults. And I'd probably use the flexibility after an LME session, where I bring them in. I'd do the warm up, a small bit of stretching. With the flexibility, I always kind of put in. I think it just goes well together. Standard flexibility training and the hydration. Hydration again, guys, something I'm going to touch on in a minute. Hydration with the older adults is something. If they come into your class, just make sure that you always have water with them, and make sure that they're constantly going with the flow. Okay. Some of the other things I'd say, like the benefit of the activity would be like it's going to regular physical activity is important for the primary and secondary prevention of many chronic diseases. Okay, regular physical activity sustainably delays the onset of functional limitations and the loss of independence. It can report that with non-smoking woman, the age 65 has 12.7 years of active life expectancy compared to 18.4 years of a highly active non-smoking woman. Okay, so they're just kind of some of the facts that I'm just kind of going through here, that I was reading out. So guys, I suppose on after that then, if we're looking at the fifth principle. Okay, so we're looking at the fifth principle. So the 3 times per week on alternative days. So it's not the case to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and to have 4 days off. You can do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, Saturday, whatever, and just as long as they're hitting their 3 times per week, okay? 50 to 60% of the maximum heart rate, okay? I told you how to get the maximum heart rate. So 220 minus your age, okay, is going to give them your max heart rate. So if you want to get 55% of that, so I am 42 years of age, so 178 would be my maximum heart rate. So I 178 divide by 100 and multiply it by 55, and I would get 55% of my maximum heart rate, as I was explaining to you in one of the early classes. Anything from 5 to 15 minutes, 2 or 3 times per day. On the decline can perform 30 minutes or more. Increase by 5 minutes per week. Not all adults that come to you, older adults, are going to be able to go in and do a 30-minute session. Remember that they haven't trained at all, that you'd start them off on the 15 minutes and just kind of, not every session, but every week kind of add the 5 minutes on and have a look and see what way they're performing themselves. And individualize every program, prescribe weight-bearing exercises within the client's orthopedic tolerance level. Okay, so what they can do. So don't go okay, I think you can lift this weight. Have them look at weight, have them look at what they're doing. I'd always say the reps are kind of more what I'd look at rather than the weight. So especially with the older adult, so something they can do probably 6 to 8 comfortable with, or 6 probably comfortable, but 8 they're struggling. And if they're finding 8 too easy, you go up a weight. If they're finding 6 too hard, you go down a weight. And exactly what we do be talking about in the classes, okay? And then you look at the benefits of the activities. If you look at the US Preservative Task Force recommends regular physical activity, especially balanced exercises to prevent falls, as I said earlier. Okay, the American Academy recommends physical activity in the management of arthritis. Evidence suggests physical activity can improve the quality of sleep among older adults. Okay, guys, that's something that we were covering in a minute. I think it's very important. Okay, so we're looking at LME. If an older client comes to you and they're looking for LME, especially as I said after the lockdown and stuff, you're looking at 3 times per week. Something like we look at ourselves. We go on 3 to 5, 8 to 12 reps. Okay. Choose the weight that they can be lifted 8 times and go up until you can get 12 and increase. So that's what I've just explained there 2 minutes ago, okay? 20 to 30 minutes max. Yeah, you don't want them going any more than that. You don't want them burning out. You don't want them to get sore, and you definitely don't want them to get injured. So that's why it's the 30 minutes. Start with machine weights and progress onto free weights as balance as joint stability improves. Focus on proper lifting techniques, range of motion through pain-free arcs, proper breathing and controlled speed of movement. Start with a multi-joint, linear pushing, pulling movement. Exactly, leg press, chest press, shoulder press. Do not exercise an acute arterific flare-up to reduce the load by 50% after the layoff. So guys, keep linear pushes. Okay, guys. Everything, if you think of it linear, you're going straight. So if I'm getting them to do push-ups, if I'm getting them to be in the prone position, doing a bench press or anything like this, and with the pulling machine. So you can go to do push-ups, or else you can do the pec deck machine where you lose the forward motion to a pulling motion where you're pulling in towards the body. So it's like the same body pattern movement. It's like when I was talking to you about if I was getting someone say to work on explosive speed, which we're not going to be here, where I'd probably have them in a trap bar doing squats out into squat jumps, or if I'm having them doing a bench press and then into ball throws, where it's the same pattern movement. It's linear movement that you're using, where you're not coming all over, you're not swinging kettlebells and stuff. Keep it very simple and very straightforward for them, okay? And again, if your explanation on your modifications and progressions be vital on this one. The balance works helps with the prevention of falls as well as the fear of falling. So what you can look at there is one-legged standing near a bar or a wall. Okay, so things like, as I told you, you can stand on one of the steps. You can stand on a step anywhere, or you can stand up on something and just put one leg to the front and just come down and you're doing heel taps. Very simple single leg movements that you're not moving with both legs. Standing up or standing up and sitting down without using the hands. Okay, so get them to stand up, get them to move, showing them their body position. So if you think of it, I'd go onto my knee and then I'd sit down. I'd then roll over onto my knee and I'd stand up. So these are small exercises which sound simple to us, but for an older adult can be quite difficult. Walking heel to toe along a line, and the step aerobics. Step aerobics, guys, these are the beats per minute. Again, you haven't covered it, you'll cover it on your PTI course. But steps aerobics, things like just stepping up and stepping down, where it's basic moves, stepping up, stepping down, stepping to the left, stepping to the right, and whatever way you want to go with it, but it's kept easy. The aging factor is real, it's a fact, it's not going to change. Although remarkable amounts of body functions fitness can be attained in old age, inevitably aging always wins. Okay, that's just it. The goal is to push back fragility to a very small part of the life experience. And this is a little quote that I like myself, to die young as late in life as possible. Okay, that's kind of something that my father likes saying as well. He used to do a bit of training, obviously he's not doing a bit now, but yeah, to die young as late in life as possible. So osteoporosis, guys, I just put in a thing about osteoporosis there, right? It's the bone is characterized by low body bone mass structural deterioration of the bone tissue, leading to bone fragility and the susceptibility of fractures, especially with the hip, the spine and the wrist, okay, the femur vertebrae and radius. Osteoporosis is also called the silent disease because bone loss occurs without symptoms. Okay, guys. So as they increase in age, obviously the bone loss is going to be more. The bone marrow and stuff is going to be less. Okay. People may not know osteoporosis until their bones become so weak that a sudden strain, bump or fall cause a fracture or a vertebrae collapse. So if somebody wasn't trained and you were to put them into a class and you were to give them exercises that were too tough for them and something was to happen here, and they wouldn't have known they have any problems with their bones before, but you know, if a 75-year-old man or a 65-year-old man or a woman comes into your class and they're looking to jump around the place, do all sorts of these exercises, you need to tell them, no, I'd like to stay on the modification exercises because this is me covering me, but also I think you're going to benefit more for it and you're not going to strain any of your muscles and stuff. Collapsed vertebrae may initially be felt or seen as a form of severe back pain, loss of height or spine deformities such as kyphosis. So guys, kyphosis, as I said, if you think with the older adult, kyphosis is the rounder of the shoulder, okay, and a curvature in the spine. And then you have type 1. Type 1 primarily in males aged between 45 and 60, and it's post-menopause. This is associated with estrogen depletion. The most common fractures are the radius and the vertebrae. In the first 1 to 5 years following menopause, women can lose as much as 25% of their bone mass. The rate of bone mass slows this down by 65 to 70%. Women and men lose bone mass at the same rate. Okay guys, so that's a type 1. There's also a type 2. So the type 2 here, it occurs in males and females over 70 years of age. Okay, you cannot help it, it's just going to occur. And no matter what kind of program you think you can put someone on. Fractures occur at the top end of the femur. Okay, so guys, the femur, the big bone. Okay, the fractures are not only associated with low mass, but with the aging process. Okay, so we're looking at these guys. These are factors that are all going to help. So the next slide I kind of put into it is, so what am I thinking if an older adult comes to me and I want to give them exercise to do, I want to put them on a program. So there's a couple of things that I said I would do. Walking is an excellent exercise for many older adults. On this one here, a lot of the adults, they'll want to get out and they'll want to do a jog. But if you can explain to them that walk with the walk, and I suppose especially as us as soldiers, when we talk about scout pace marching or loaded marching, the way we move our body, if we can explain to them that that's just going to be as beneficial to them as getting out and going for a run, and they can burn just as much calories for it, well, then that'd be brilliant for us moving forward, okay, especially as a PTS. Aquatic exercise is a very good choice for those with orthopedic problems. Okay, aquatic guys, low impact, it's very easy to do, it's just a matter of floats, exercises, you can do your side steps, you can do your lunges, you have your balance off the wall, you have your wall to hold on to, you have your woggles or you have your floats to hold on to, which can aid you as well, so that's very good. When choosing aerobic machines, avoid those with excessively compliant panels and programs. If you're showing somebody how to use a program, this is the start button, this is go fast, this is go slow, and most importantly, this is the stop. A lot of them come, guys, you've seen the machines, they come with an emergency stop, attach onto them, and just explain to them that's just for their own safety as well, and any of the machines. But yeah, show them how to go, how to start forward, and explain to them then that's not how fast you go or how hard you go, it's just that they're enjoying the exercise as well, okay? Non-weight bearing modality, such as the Recomeback bike, provides support for the back reclining, and the Recomeback position enhances blood return to the heart and reduces cardiovascular. Okay guys, basically it's a bike kind of with has a back piece on it, and you can get them using that instead of all crouched over, which is, they probably have a sore bike already. And that's all got to do with, as I said, remember the bike I was saying? If I bring an older adult in and if I want to put them on the bike, I'm going to make sure that the saddle is up their hip. From my finger to my elbow, it's going to be from the front of the seat saddle to where their hands are going to be. And I like to raise it up a slightly bit on the hands, that they're not leaning all the way forward. And then I just explained the 3 different grips, that you don't need to be leaning forward, you don't need to stand up, that you can sit back nice and comfortable, keep your back nice and straight, head out. And these are small things like when you're teaching that you need to be aware of. Frequency, intensity and duration should be changed individually. Altering them at the same time may provide too much overload. Alright, so guys, basically on that one there, what I'm saying is you don't want to have a group of people coming into you and trying to progress them all at the same time, because one of them might just not be able to keep going. So it's all about individual programs when you're dealing with an older adult and not group activities. And yeah, guys, so that's it, guys. That's just one of the things I think I'm going to give you another lecture that we missed during the week. Any questions, bang them on to me. I'd pay particular attention to the fifth principle, probably for an LME. It's something that you could very much see again. But other than that, guys, if any need to find, any need to ask me any questions, or any need to go anything like that, just give us a ring, and I'll go through any of the parts with you. But other than that, guys, yeah, talk to you during the week.